Hello and welcome to another episode of No Highway Option, or if you will, No HIVEWAY Option.
Oh, God.
Nah.
It's the cinema podcast where we answer the one question that applies to every movie in existence. Is it better or worse than Vin Diesel's 2005 seminal masterpiece, The Pacifier? My name is Connor J. Burke. I'm one of your hosts, and I can't believe this movie didn't just fade into existence after like 2009.
I'm your other host, Luke, and my two favorite things are cheeseburgers and boobies.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Hey, guys, I'm beyond excited to be on the show today. I'm B. Randon. I'm your third host tonight.
He's our special guest, but third host works just as well. Yeah, you have a lot of B's because you got B. Randon, and then you got the Blue Bloods Podcast. That's two more B's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Blue Blood. Hey, that's a subtle plug, but I like it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. So in case you couldn't tell by those wonderful, wonderful, wonderful bits of humor, today's movie given to us by Amber last week is B-Movie, the 2007 Dreamworks animation. I guess you could call it a film. It reaches 90 minutes. That's how long a movie is, right?
It's certainly a collection of scenes.
It was a movie, I think.
Do either of you have a history with this, or like besides the whole meme thing?
I had never seen it, and then it was the meme, and then it came to Netflix, and I was pretty excited. I was like, "Oh man, let's watch it," and that was the first time I watched it. I was disappointed. This is only the second time I've seen it. Still as disappointed.
Yeah, so when it came out, I think it was in 2007. I remember watching about half of it and then turning it off, and that's kind of what I wanted to do again when I started watching it the other night.
This is definitely something I remember seeing it like on DVD when it came out. This was definitely a blockbuster. Like, oh yeah, I think I should watch this movie because they say it's from the people who made Shrek, and I like Shrek.
Yeah,
and
Shrek.
Yeah, like I feel like DreamWorks movies go into like three different piles of like good, memed, and then just fade away. And B-Movie should be in the fade away pile. I don't like how it got moved to meme.
It's in memes.
It shouldn't be. I don't think it's worth being a meme. Maybe that's the question we had.
That Do You Like Jazz came from this.
That's like the one thing.
No, I know. I knew that it was a meme. I just didn't think that it came from here.
It just feels lazy, this movie.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like even the
little
way they changed the DreamWorks logo in the beginning. You know, sometimes like with Kung Fu Panda, it's like a completely different animation style, or like the music is different for some stuff. This one, B just stings the boy, and the boy plummets to his death.
Missed opportunity to change it to BEEWorks.
And then,
Look, I don't know. I'm kind of all the way in on that now. That's not.
BEEWorks.
That's better than the movie itself.
BEEWorks. Everything is yellow.
Yeah. Wiz Khalifa gets royalties.
Yellow and black. Oh, black and yellow. I mean, he didn't get copyrighted on that one.
Or does Wiz Khalifa have to pay Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it does open with Barry going through... our main character, played by Jerry Seinfeld, Barry B. Benson, going through his wardrobe and, haha, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, yellow and black. Oh, let's mix it up a little.
And, like, 8 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
So, as a person, you wear out sneakers a lot because, like, you walk. But how many pairs of identical sneakers is Barry Benson going through?
Those black and yellow Converse, though, they kind of go hard. I like them.
They look good. But, like, why does a bee need shoes? It's a bee.
Why does he need any of it?
There's a lot. Also, every bee is Donald Ducking it the whole time. Or Winnie the Poohing it, just shirt, no pant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he does make a point of saying, like, someone asks, who are you wearing? And he's like, my shirt is by some bad pun, and I don't wear pants. That's also kind of just weird. Why would you make a point of
The
it?
movie could have been called Bad Puns.
Maybe that's just written really tiny next to B. Barry Benson is about to graduate from college. The graduating class of 915. He's excited for his day. He's putting honey in his hair. He's flying down to his family, and his mom yells at him to use the stairs because his father paid for them.
Everyone is vaguely Hebrew for some reason.
Right.
Because it's Seinfeld.
I know.
Well, do you know
even when they talk about the bees and they talk about him dating somebody and they're like, oh man, I hope she's bee-ish.
Yeah.
The default is that.
Well, do you know who his parents are, like voice-wise? Did you look it up?
I did not.
The mom is Kathy Bates.
Nice.
And the dad is Barry Levinson. If that name sounds a little bit familiar, that's because he's the director of Rain Man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
For some reason, he's the dad bee. My sister sat down and was watching it with me. When I found that out, I was like, oh my God, like, this is so weird. And she's like, why is that weird? Like, it's weird.
That's Rain Man.
We meet Barry's best friend, Adam, who's Matthew Broderick, and B kind of looks like Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, man.
That's the only thing that looked like anything in this movie.
Yeah, this movie's ugly.
Yeah. And there were a lot of like repeated character models.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were looking at an enemy base in a PS2 game, and there were like 3 different guys that they drew.
We've got tall, we've got short, and we've got medium round. Now go.
Yeah.
There's really fast exposition about bees. So like they go through, school takes them 3 days each level, but then for the rest of the movie, they don't seem like they age that fast. They're kind of just bees.
Who knows? At their graduation, they say bee men, which implies the existence of higher bee god and bee religion.
I mean, well, yeah. He does flat out mention Judaism at one point. He mentions bejesus.
Yeah.
Because when he's talking to B. Larry King, he's like, we've got B. Gandhi, B. Christopher Columbus, bejesus. And then he just flat out says to Larry King, he's like, their Larry King is also very Jewish. And I'm like, how does he know all of these concepts? I was talking about this with a coworker, and they were like, you'd be great at CinemaSins. I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that, man. Barry kind of has a bit of a existential crisis because he gets an immediate job after graduation, which it's not bad.
No.
Not really bad at all.
Yeah, right.
Like, watch yourself, man. You can have hobbies. And it's at Hunex, which the design of Hunex rules.
Yeah.
I like. It's a theme
just
park.
the chocolate tour. It's just a Hershey's chocolate tour.
Basically, maybe with a little more. There's no Krellman part of the Hershey's chocolate tour.
No problem.
It needed singing bee cows.
Not the cat. The new cows, yes. I like the new cows. New song, new cows, good. Old cows, bad.
I like the old cows better than the new cows.
Old cows suck, man. This is a very niche conversation. I feel like a friend of the show and past and future guest Nick Cherry will be very excited about it.
Oh yeah, so you have strong feelings about them?
He's around there, yeah.
Oh.
We go past the helmet test area, which that bee is dead. Even though they show him give the thumbs up, I'm okay. It's just they just keep smashing that bee. They've probably gone through a ton of bees. That development just kills people.
Well, and the thing is, Barry even goes on to mention that a B's limit is about 75 pages. So they found out. Like, they know. They just keep on trying.
They ran the tests.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's the orientation bee, who I thought was Amy Sedaris, but unfortunately it was not. It was Megan Mullally. For some reason, all the bee cars make little fart noises. You just go.
Did you catch a look at the highway also?
A HIVEWAY?
Ah, fuck you.
The one with the loop-de-loop and
The one with the damn loop-de-loop in the middle. How does traffic work?
Well, everything works perfectly. They make a point to be like, everything works too well here. And Matthew Broderick's like, name one example. And then all the cars are just dodging them perfectly and nobody's honking. Like, that's how it works.
Right.
After this, we're introduced to the pollen jocks, which... Does pollen jock sound gross to you guys? Because it sounds gross to me. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, it's got a certain connotation, and I guess they're the Air Force, or they all look like cops, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make them like Top Gun guys. They've all got aviators.
I don't remember any fucking noodle guns in Top Gun.
Yeah, the gun design is weird. There's also a run of jokes about being attracted to bee women and then being like, oh, it's my cousin. We're all related. And then Seinfeld's like, but that one's hot, but she's my distant cousin.
Becest.
Yeah.
Insect and
man.
incest are not
very
very far
close.
away from each other. There's also a whole thing where the bees' antenna are phones.
Yeah, just a Bluetooth headset is what they are, apparently.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, fine. If you want to do that, like, make it funny. Do a wrong number joke. Even though that wouldn't work, and that would probably make me even more mad.
Would it have saved it?
At least make it absurd instead of just like, they can do that. And it's like, what do you mean they can do that? It's like, they just can. We are also introduced to General Lou, who is returning member from our very first episode, Rip Torn.
Gotta love
All
it.
right.
Good to hear him again. He's kind of just doing army stuff.
Vague Rip Torn-esque stuff.
So,
Rah.
is every Rip Torn appearance on this podcast going to be him playing some army thing?
Maybe.
Because he was like a general.
Until we get him as Patches O'Houlihan. So we can rate that film as perfect.
So Barry tries to impress some girls, but because he has pollen on him, and the pollen jocks are like, all right, come out with a ride along, but flying. And so Barry goes outside the hive, and wow, he's enchanted by 720p New York City.
Yeah, and he just left New Hive City, so there's the originality of this movie at its peak.
Oh,
And now he's in New York City, and I don't know, man. There was nothing original about this movie, and it aggravates me.
And also he knows what a box kite specifically is. He knows what jazz is, but he doesn't know what a tennis ball is.
None of them do.
What's
Fucking
the
none of them
line?
have seen a tennis ball. These are the bees that go out and get pollen, and none of them have seen a tennis ball.
I thought of just this entire sequence where Barry's flying around outside. It's just, if you've ever seen that video of someone explaining why he hates the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I know where you're going with it.
Yeah, so he just plays a clip from the Big Bang Theory, and they're like, oh, the thing will be decided by a Game of Thrones death match of Doctor Who versus Transformers. And the laugh track goes off, and the guy recording it is just like,
fuck you! Where was the joke? He just fucking named a bunch of shit! How is this comedy? Why are you laughing? Go for it. What?
and I'm like, yeah, this is just Jerry Seinfeld walking around New York naming shit. Oh, box kite, flowers.
The kites are also fucking 80 stories up.
Hey man, that's just people
I guess
being good at
that's
flying
like-
kites.
That's nitpicky,
So
I
good.
suppose.
Some people are really good at flying kites. The pollen jocks are like, oh, hey, we got yellow flowers over here. And turns out they're tennis balls. And the tennis game is being played by Vanessa, played by Renee Zellweger. And the saving grace of this entire film, Ken, played by Patrick Warburton.
The hero of this story.
The one person who would react the way a normal person would react to everything that's happening, and he's just a weirdly aggro douche, and I love every time he's on screen.
No, it's great. And even the part where he almost burned his whole apartment building down was that was even
I
fantastic.
was still on his side.
Yeah. His bee's trying to steal his girl. We'll get to that, though.
And at one point, Vanessa says, "Why is his life any less important than yours?" And I had a few reasons. The second she said that, I was like, well, I don't know.
Number one, bee.
He's a fucking bee.
Barry gets off the tennis ball. He gets stuck and he goes through a game of tennis, but he gets off and flies through a car engine, which is just DreamWorks being like, oh, we got to make Turbo in a few years. And it's going to have the same exact sequence. So let's do a dry test run of Turbo.
My nephew is obsessed with that movie right now.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't think I think I watched it, but I definitely fell asleep and was like, snail go fast, sure thing.
Well, you were also older than 5 when it came out.
Yeah, but I like animated movies. Then it starts to rain, and Barry loves to remind us that bees can't fly in rain.
Is that a thing?
Probably.
It did seem like there was a weird mix of like this movie really, really tried to get their bee facts straight, and then sometimes they just said fuck it.
Oh, I completely forgot the opening quote where it's like, according to all known laws of aviation, a bee should not be able to fly its fat little wings.
I saw the bottom of my brain. I rolled my eyes so hard.
No one has ever said that. That's not a thing. And I guess in my memory, I always thought they like attributed it to somebody. Like it was just like some scientist or some like Ralph Waldo Emerson or something. But no, they just say it and they're like, you know how everybody's always like bees can't fly because they fat. Like no,
no, I don't.
These bees aren't fat. These are all like size 32 at most bees.
Oh man.
Ken's having little side conversations about like updating his resume and how it's a trifold pamphlet. It's funny, man. I don't know what he wants to do, but he's making me laugh.
It looks bad too.
Yeah, but he's so confident.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know what the content of the brochure is. That could be okay, but like the animation of the pamphlet, for something that he was going to be waving around all the time, it looks like the lid of a plastic bucket.
They do mention his resume one more time with one specific thing on it. Later, Vanessa's like, I was talking with Barry and he agrees. Being able to eat with chopsticks is not a special skill you should put on your resume. And
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was another time where I was like, that's a good joke. Anything involving Ken is good. Yeah, this is also when I noticed the bunch of humans in one room. The human animation is like Toy Story 1 level bad.
Right. This was like...
They're choppy.
It's the mouths.
Yeah.
The mouths really, I don't know why I honed in on that.
And this is 12 years after the first Toy Story. And they just look off. They look wrong.
Well, and it was even after Shrek, which not great, but I still think better than BEEWorks.
Better, yeah. Ken goes to kill Barry by putting boots on his hand. and because he's allergic to
Said
bees.
Timberlands.
But Vanessa saves him, because why should his life have any less value than yours?
Because she's a crazy person. He's deathly allergic to bees. She stops him from killing the bee and then rips up his resume.
Yeah, I feel like there should have been a mention of her being vegan.
Yeah,
Having serious mental problems.
right. And she's just, it doesn't matter what Barry says, she's on his side just because.
It's true. She does accept the whole "a bee is talking to me" thing very quickly when he goes to thank her.
I have a lot to say about that, by the way.
Besides her stabbing
Why is
herself in the hand with a fork. But
Yeah. Why is it bees' number one rule that they can't talk to people?
yeah,
That's,
Who knows?
all the bees are like, it's bee law, and every time they say it, I'm like, why? Was there a problem before this?
Was there some other bee that tried to fuck a human lady?
Is there a horrifying child out there because it worked?
oh, no.
Is it? Well, isn't that? It's the kid from iCarly. You ever see that?
It's Gibby.
What?
The fucking what's his name? Freddie. There's a whole internet theory
Oh,
where
yeah.
like the mom kind of looks like
Vanessa.
Vanessa, and
Stop.
everybody's real nerved up, and it's. I think
Sure.
it also goes on to say that she accidentally killed him, too, and that's why she's so nervous about Freddie.
Yeah, man. All right. Yeah, this whole thing, like, they get together, they drink some coffee. She's okay with talking to a bee. This is just when you're surrounded by yes men who won't tell you this idea is bad and you should stop. Like
Yeah.
for Jerry
Right.
Seinfeld and Steven Spielberg. Because do you know how this movie came about initially?
I do not.
Nope.
At least the legend has it. Jerry Seinfeld was having dinner at Steven Spielberg's house, and they were just chatting, and like sci-fi movies came up, and Jerry Seinfeld was like, "Oh well, you know how they used to call sci-fi movies B movies? Wouldn't it be funny if you made a movie about a bee, but called it B movie, but it wasn't a B movie?" And you know, Steven Spielberg blew his nose with $1,000 bill and was like, "Oh yeah, no, you can make that."
Well,
Okay.
fortunate for us that happened.
Yeah.
It does sound like
Good
a Seinfeld
thing.
episode. He'd like walk back home and be like, "I just signed up to make a movie about insects. I didn't mean to."
In a tight 24 minutes, probably good.
Yeah, probably real fun.
Yeah.
But this isn't even that long. It's like an hour 31 with credits.
It's too long.
Um,
I think the movie could have ended after the court case.
Oh well, yeah. We can when we get to that, we'll get to it. Had another sincere laugh when when Jerry or Barry goes back to the hive, and Adam asked, "How'd you get back here?" And he just casually goes, "You know, poodle."
I missed that. Oh, man.
He's talking about how he doesn't want to go to work, and his parents are yelling at him while he's laying in the pool. This whole thing is an extended riff on The Graduate, like shot for shot, which,
Yeah.
It is.
yeah. What,
Ah,
and like, why don't you just go into Honey is them being like, "Hey, Dustin Hoffman, why don't you just go into Plastics? Like, Plastics is the next thing. Graduate's an incredible movie, and this, I was just like, what child is going to be in the theater like,
looking for that reference.
hey mom, did you get this?" And then Barry dives under the water and has a fantasy sequence that is probably the best part of the entire film. One of them.
Yeah.
So it's He's fantasizes he's on a date with Vanessa, and she gets in a plane to try to impress him. She makes a heart out of smoke and then runs into a cliff, and the plane explodes.
Does she draw a heart, or does she try to draw a heart and end up with a ball sack?
I knew that was.
You knew
I
it was
knew this
coming.
was gonna happen. The back of my head was like, he's either gonna say it's an ass or balls. So Barry and Vanessa continue becoming friends, and while in the grocery store, Barry makes a horrifying discovery that humans bottle honey and sell it and eat it and use it in a bunch of things. Oh no. And thus begins Act 2, where it becomes a court drama. Right out of nowhere. Also, if you'll pardon the pun, this movie has no B story. Like, in my note, it's a legitimate criticism, and then I was like, oh shit, wait. Because, like, it's all just one of Barry's story. I guess the B plot could be every time we check in on Ken.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
That's way too small to be.
Yeah, Andy's kind of tied in.
Yeah,
Right.
It's ridiculous. So Barry does a recon mission to find out where the honey is coming from. And there's a stock boy who really, really cares about honey for some reason. Just
he wants this to be gone. He wants Barry out of there forever. Like, he's the gatekeeper. He's never going to find out where the honey's coming from.
Why?
That grocery store scene was insane from start to finish. It started with he is telling Vanessa about bee feelings, and he whispers lust in her ear.
Yeah.
And then he finds Ray Liotta honey. And then he's in the stock room fighting that guy with a thumbtack.
Yeah, it's
so
a thumbtack versus Stinger.
Yeah.
Oh man!
So
he
Perfect
just
filmmaking.
flings the thumbtack too. Like, it's out of there.
Mhm.
It was intense.
And so Barry finds out the honey comes from the wonderfully and creatively titled Honey Farms, and tries to follow their truck. He hitches a ride on the windshield. He meets Moose Blood, the Chris Rock mosquito. It's a welcome surprise.
Criminally underused.
It's a welcome surprise, but I wish he said something funny.
Oh.
Well, he said it in that voice,
Yeah.
in the Chris Rock voice, so it made me laugh.
And
It made me laugh because I thought he was saying something funny, because that's what Chris Rock usually does, just not here.
Not really, no. Then when they get to Honey Farms, the first two beekeepers are just weirdly anti-bee.
Yeah.
They're just like, they make the honey, we make the money. These stupid bugs are making us rich. I hate bees.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Who talks like that at their job?
The exact line of "they make the honey, we make the money." I remember just looking over at my wife and saying, "I don't want to watch this anymore."
This is an assignment.
They pinpoint the exact moment it became homework. How about that car chase also? That was jarring.
Yeah, I forgot that happened.
But it did have the like realist moment of this whole movie was in the middle of that, when he bumped into a guy on a bicycle driving in the middle of the traffic lane.
Right.
That's New York for you, man. There's kind of a fun joke where the bees at the honey farms are being worked and smoked out so that the honey can be collected with a smoking gun which comes into play with the court.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Barry comes in and he's like, "Why are you all here?" And they're like, "Well, our queen came here." And they show a picture of the queen. She's got 5 o'clock shadow. It's like, this is a bee man in women's clothing. This is a drag queen.
Nah.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure. And after this, we get just, they ran out of puns, I guess. So it's just B. Larry King.
I don't
as
understand.
Earlier.
If they were going to use B. Larry King, why did they then address regular Larry King? Why didn't they pick one?
Because this movie doesn't know what it's doing. This, like, I know I've said in the past that, like, Burlesque especially was, like, this was a first draft of a script. But this wasn't even a first draft. This was, like, just on the fly. God,
yeah. Very
bug
impressive. This was just on the gross. No,
Get out of here.
It was not on
just seemed
purpose.
This entire movie seemed like a Curb Your Enthusiasm fever dream. Like Larry David woke up really sick one morning and was like, "Yeah, let's do this." It was. I mean,
Yeah, there's just something about it. This feels like the producers, like the you can make more money with a flop than with a hit thing.
yeah.
Except it doesn't work.
Yeah, so it's
Or it
like
does.
so
Yeah.
it's like the producers. It makes some money, and
It's like what they wanted to do.
yeah. So this is just like the whole. We've got B. Columbus, B. Gandhi, bejesus, weird.
It makes me more confused about the world because they're saying, okay, so your average bee life, they go through all of their school in 3 days, which means that their whole life is shortened.
9
if
days.
they sting somebody, they die immediately. Did they say the time of how long their life usually lasts?
No, but they say 3 days of elementary school, 3 days of high school, 3 days of college.
So then you figure like somewhere in the 3 to 6 days after that.
Mm-hmm.
How do they know any history? And also, they live in hives, so it's not like which hive is B America? Why does B Columbus exist?
Why do they have the same names as the people with B in front?
All of it.
Like that's like us being like, oh man, I can't think of a famous dog. Oh, Spuds McKenzie. Oh, we got Person McKenzie over here.
It's like Cars, but without any mater or anything.
Again,
anything good.
Don't get me started on Cars World. Ever.
What do you think their Beyonce is called?
Solange's sister.
Okay.
After this, we go back and we check in on Ken and Vanessa, and Ken is reacting as one would. It's just like, the bee is suing the human race. What?
Seriously?
Ken somehow makes Vanessa mad, so she kicks him out, and he just screams at the top of his lungs, "Why is yogurt night so difficult?" And we enter the courtroom drama twist.
Barry is sitting at that little table, on top of the table with his little tiny utensils, and there's that like moment of tension, the fight with him and Ken.
That's a little later.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to it then.
So the courtroom, everybody is tuning in to see if bees can talk. We meet the judge, who's played by Oprah.
Goddamn Oprah Winfrey.
She's 2 years away from being in a good animated movie.
Which was?
Princess and the Frog. She's Tiana's mom.
Oh, I did not know that she was Tiana's mom.
Yeah. And another character that I enjoy the design of, and I enjoy sometimes his voice. We got John Goodman coming in with full, I may be a humble Southern man lawyer.
John Goodman at his finest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say his finest. I would say John Goodman at his 3 days of, John, just do whatever you want, man.
I love me a John Goodman going full Southern.
It is ridiculous, but I do like it a lot. The bees can talk. They're talking about the corruption of humans with their honey. They make an Enron joke with Hunron. Why?
Just bad. I don't. Because corporations are evil at first and then not, and we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Barry makes a big point about why are bears the honey jars? Because bears are bad. Exhibit A, let's bring a bear into a courtroom. On paper, that's hilarious, but they don't do anything with it. They're just like, there's a bear. Go away now.
Should have eaten one of the jurors.
Can
Get
he
out of here.
talk?
Can the bear? I don't know, but the cow can later.
Yeah, so the bear can
It
talk.
stands to reason. I was thinking after this opens the floodgate for all of these animals to be doing lawsuits.
Yeah, this is the beginning of an uprising.
Why are the bears? Their next move is probably to sue for defamation.
Yeah.
Like,
Ray Liotta comes up to the stand to defend against his Ray Liotta private select. You know, there's Ray Liotta jokes of like, this isn't a good fella, this is a bad fella.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Ray Liotta responds with what we were all thinking, that I'm just going to squash him. End this whole thing.
The second most reasonable man in this movie.
I'm going to squash him with my Emmy for ER. And there's a cameo from Sting. Yeah, sure.
The first of two is
like, just okay, DreamWorks. That worked with Shrek, so do your thing, I guess. I don't know.
Is there like information about Sting where he like meditates really well? Is that like a joke we're supposed to be on the inside of?
I think it is. I think he's supposed to be like a calm guy. I don't know, man. Yeah, the floating meditation thing during his second appearance is... I think that was just like the early 2000s meditation joke where it's like, oh, you'll levitate if you're doing it right. Because
I wish.
Yeah, right. This is when the we cut back to Ken and Vanessa having dinner, and Barry is with them. Barry's got his little table with his little utensils. Ken comes in late, and he dramatically is just like, I tried to call, but he pulls out his old flip phone, the battery. Just good reading. And this is finally when Ken snaps and is like, I'm going to murder this bug because it is a bug I am allergic to in my girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
They have that whole back and forth, and Ken tells him, you're sitting in my seat.
I think he just means the head of the table.
I don't know. I think that means it's on the table for dinner.
He's using his plastic silverware.
It's my Polly Pocket table.
I eat a single pea off that at a time. There's so they go into the bathroom, and there's bathroom shenanigans of him trying to kill Barry, sprays him with air freshener, and it's like, oh, I love the smell of flowers, and how do you like the smell of flames? Makes it a flamethrower like we all did at Boy Scout camp. And then Vanessa's like, get out of here, Ken. You tried to kill a bug that you are allergic to. That's bad for some reason.
And he should feel glad.
I guess he dodged a bullet. Yeah, I don't know. This is around the point where, like, the whole bee versus human thing felt like it was trying to be a racism allegory, but it does not work.
Oh, it does a really bad job if it's trying to be, because it does not turn out well.
It doesn't, it like, some of it tracks and it's like, you can hear it in the dialogue, but then other times it's like, especially with the ending of it, it's like, it shouldn't be. I hope it's not. Sweet Lord. It is iconic how lawyer John Goodman calls Barry to the stand and is asking him about his relationship with Vanessa. If he's a little bed bug.
The mouth was so close to my face.
I leaned into it.
I did that as a point.
His too.
Yeah. It's iconic though.
Yeah.
It's great. So this bothers Adam so much. Remember Adam, the Matthew Broderick bee? He's still in this movie. That he attacks and stings the lawyer man.
I couldn't tell initially that he was going to be mad. Because he starts like wagging his stinger like it's a tail. Is he aroused?
Yeah, you thought he was getting excited, like maybe one day I can have that.
Well, I don't know. Well, at first he did try to talk Barry out of this whole thing. He's like, you need to leave that lady alone because you're a bee. And this goes against every bee law that we have, apparently. And then just all of a sudden he's Team Barry. I don't understand.
He's
where that
helping
came
his
from.
friend. I don't know. But so we get court is adjourned. Adam's in the hospital because they took up a whole hospital bed for a bee. And stinging didn't kill him somehow. But so they replace his stinger with a cocktail sword from a sandwich.
Yeah.
That should be funny. It's not.
Should it?
No.
I don't know. On paper, it sounds like, oh, that would be a funny visual. And then you see it for half a second, you're like, yep, that is what it is. And later they go back into court and he's asked Adam to stall. So Adam's like, here's how you make a paper boat. Here, how do you know how to make a paper boat? You're a bee. You live in a hive. What's the logic? Especially Adam. Adam had never been outside the hive and didn't want to.
Right.
But
there's also no bees in the jury.
That's true.
No,
but
not one.
Not truly a jury of his peers. There
is the guy wearing the yellow and black sweater. And he makes a big deal about pointing at it.
You have to wonder if that's the guy that initiated the bees can't talk to humans rule. Is he the kid?
He's the half and half. That's not a sweater, that's his body. Again, it's a design thing that makes me laugh. John Goodman, lawyer, is playing up his injury by walking around in one of those baby walker things. Big fat man baby walker thing. Funny.
He also has a neck brace on for some reason.
They couldn't get him a wheelchair.
But they ask for a smoking gun. So Barry brings in the smoking gun from Honey Farms. And there we go. The bees win the case. That should be the end of the movie, but we still have like 20 minutes.
So that was odd to me because why did they have the jury if the judge was just going to be like, oh, you win because of the nicotine gun?
Because I don't know, family entertainment doesn't have to have a courtroom work correctly. They just have to have the visuals.
No. Yeah, it's fair.
And this one certainly did not.
So we got a montage.
I also think that that shouldn't have worked. That shouldn't have been a smoking gun. Because the bee gun they're not blowing just loose nicotine into the hive. It's like a sleep agent.
Yeah.
So then the corporation should have been able to have been like, yeah, we're not hiding that.
Hey, Luke, here's the thing. Bees should not win in a court case against humans at all.
That's true. I'm a stickler for the rules.
With no bee lawyer who studied human law at all.
You're right.
There's a montage of all the bees getting their honey back, and they're like, wow, we have to shut down work. Wow, we're going crazy. We're arresting Ray Liotta and Sting. Let's tranquilize Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
Which,
what?
the design of him is like suably close.
Right.
I mean,
Like,
they must have gotten the okay.
I don't know, man. Disney's tight.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
why I feel like they have to have gotten they have to have reached some kind of deal.
I guess Steven Spielberg was like, "Come on, I'm an executive producer on this, and you physically cannot say no to me." And they're like, "I guess we can." So,
good point.
now the bees are all lazy, and because of that, the flowers are dying because nothing is there to pollinate them, except for like the wind.
All of the other
Yeah.
pollinators.
But
Nope.
so Barry's like, "Oh no, this is all my fault. Vanessa, let's do a suicide pact."
Yeah. Family-friendly fun.
Yeah,
How will we do it?
I remember I had very religious neighbors who, like, when we talked about this movie, the mom was like, "I did not like that. I had to mute that line. That was a bad line." And so Vanessa's like, "I'm going to go to the last ever Tournament of Roses in Pasadena to see the roses." And Barry's like, "Oh my God, we can steal the roses."
Mhm.
And that sounds like it should be the entire third act, a big, fun heist. It's 2 minutes. And everything works perfectly. So they're on a plane now. And the plane's flying into a storm, but Barry's like, "We need to get to New York faster." So he knocks on the door of the cockpit and is like, "Can I have some help with this magazine?" Which tells us that this movie takes place in 2000 or earlier.
Right.
Why? Oh,
Think
I don't
about
know. I think Sky Mall is still in there.
It's not a Sky Mall thing. It's a knocking on the door of the cockpit to talk to the pilots
You're
about
right.
Sky Mall.
I don't know why I went to the magazines. I did see the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh God, yeah. And then, even though they're known that bees can talk now, the pilots still freak out and knock each other unconscious with like an inflatable raft and a dustbuster. Now one's bald, one's in a boat, one's unconscious. But
You know what would have solved this whole problem? They wouldn't have had to even get on the plane if they flew the bees to the flowers.
yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Or
they
if,
use
like-
their bee wings.
Or there are bees in San Francisco or Pasadena.
Yeah.
Maybe not, though.
Talk to them.
Apparently.
Bees don't only exist in New York.
I don't know. That's what this movie told me.
This is where I get all of my facts for life.
The pollen jocks and everyone comes to help Barry and Vanessa land the plane by thinking bee.
Ugh.
Just flowers on the runway, just dumb. This entire time where like the plane is flying like a bug, it's like circling the thing. I was like, what are the passengers on the plane doing? Like, are they losing their minds? Is this horrifying? It cuts back to them.
To them. That would be interesting.
But it does cut to them being
After.
impatient to leave. It's terrible.
We cut for one Jerry Seinfeld joke at the end.
It's not even a good one.
Exactly.
And so at the very end, Barry gets a jacket and he gets to be a pollen jock, which is what he always wanted,
I guess.
It's his dream.
I guess. And the pollen jocks are like, "We're going to super pollinate everything." So the end of this movie is just like, if you've got allergies, fuck you. At the end, Vanessa and Barry set up a half florist, half legal advice for animals store.
You know, don't you have one of those near you?
Barry calls Vanessa Vanny,
Yeah.
which is, that's not a nickname.
The natural abbreviation for Vanessa.
V.
Nessie.
Yeah, Nessie. Oh, that's my last note on it. Just what kind of a nickname is Vanny?
Vanny.
That's the end of it for me. There's a cow. The cow wants to sue. And
Open the floodgates.
Moose Blood is there, and he's like, I was already a parasite. Now I have a briefcase. That makes me a lawyer.
Nah.
Chris Rock was a shining light in this turd.
Was he? It was definitely nice to hear his voice, but like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chris Rock
shining
voice.
light? I don't know, man. It's bad.
Correct. You know what else was bad? That cover at the end of the movie.
Oh, what Sheryl Crow doing Here Comes the Sun?
Oh my God.
It was well, this sounds like you want to transition right into the criteria, huh?
I wanted to transition into putting a live drill in my ear.
I didn't think it was that bad. Well, now that you've started that, let's go over the criteria where we compare this to the pacifier. Right after, sorry, it looks like someone's trying to join the Zoom call.
Oh.
Let me see.
Is it me?
Hey, it's me. It's Barry Benson, the actual bee that this movie is based off of. Okay, hi. How are you, Mr. Benson? You don't sound very much like Jerry Seinfeld. Well, yeah, that's because they based the movie on my life and my experiences, and then Jerry's an actor. Do you guys want to ask Barry anything, or do we just want to kill this bit?
No questions from this end.
Okay. What about you, other guy?
Let's see.
You know, I've never heard a podcast like this, but the movie you guys talk about, we've got a similar one.
About bees.
We call it the honeysuckle.
Okay.
The pacifier. And you know who stars in the honeysuckle?
Who?
Vin Diesel.
I think I got a Sears catalog around here somewhere.
Oh no, I'll leave then. I'm not gonna lie, I was very bored at work today, so I just came up with a whole thing of it was based on a true story up until the court case, but they settled out of court, and then the rest is fictionalized. He was gonna bring up the whole this took place in the 90s thing because of the cockpit door.
Oh man.
I thought it was thought through, but it was not. I just wanted to get Vin Diesel out there.
Vin Diesel.
All right, so the criteria for this movie, we do it every episode. It's a way to find out if a movie is better or worse than The Pacifier. So first off, how is the soundtrack? Luke, do you have any thoughts on this?
I thought it was bad. I did not care for it. So that cover at the end of the movie was so bad that I cannot tell you any other songs from the movie through my blind rage.
I think they did Sugar Honey Honey at one point.
Oh, good.
It was forgettable.
Yeah, no, I indifferent. It's what I am. Honestly, I do remember the last song. Other than that, I was trying to listen for music.
Yeah,
can't recall.
Doesn't utilize it too much. Next up, where does the main actor land on the Dieselometer, which is a ranking of Vin Diesel performances based on charm and ability. So the main actor in this is Jerry Seinfeld. I think, so in this, Jerry Seinfeld, sure, he's playing a character, but he's basically just doing Seinfeld shtick. He's essentially playing himself, but in a weird kind of stilted way. So I put this as good as Vin's performance as a presenter at the 2004 MTV Movie Awards?
There we go. I'll rank this one as Vin's performance in The Fate of the Furious. I think that's the 8th Fast and the Furious movie.
All right.
Right on. I sit with Teenage Groot.
Okay.
Because it's whiny and it thinks it's funny and it's not cute. And there's if I remember correctly, there's a short shut the door quick, could be maybe masturbating joke, which really fits the aesthetic of this film. No, it's about the game.
I don't
it's definitely about playing the video game thing, but
for
the sake of this.
Okay. Next up, did I like this as a kid, or would I have liked this as a kid? I can never get through that word, and I made up the wording. I think I did, but I don't really remember. I think it was one of those like I enjoyed myself, and then it faded away.
I think that I would have, because I if I was right in the right age for it, but it wouldn't have been good.
I remember liking the first part of the movie before I turned it off, because as soon as he got to the court, I was like, oh no, because I was like scarred by Judge Judy as a child, and so anything with a courtroom to me was just a no-go. So yeah, I like the first part.
That's new. What have the directors gone on to do? So this was directed by Simon J. Smith and Steve Hickner. Simon J. Smith went on to do the Penguins of Madagascar movie and various shorts for like Megamind and Big Hero 6. And Steve Hickner has gone on to do Kung Fu Panda shorts. But before this, he was one of the directors on The Prince of Egypt and 2 episodes of Father of the Pride.
Okay.
Do you remember Father of the Pride?
There's something I haven't heard about in a while.
I think there are a bunch of episodes on YouTube. I remember specifically watching the one where Donkey from Shrek is the guest star.
I feel like I've seen that one too. But that might be the only one.
It's not Eddie Murphy, but it's Donkey.
Yeah.
All right, next up, is there anything as memorable or iconic as the Peter Panda dance? What do you guys got?
No.
In the movie itself, no. The memes, sure. But no, in the movie, not at all.
For me, and it's just because it's an image that got stuck in my head, it was Pooh getting tranquilized.
Really?
When I was younger, I just remembered being like, yeah, man, because like 2007, I'm 12 years old. I'm like, oh man, there's a point where they shot Winnie the Pooh. Take that, children who enjoy things.
Oh. You have to hate everything.
Yeah.
I get it.
Who is the Brad Garrett or Carol Kane insane side character of the film? Ken.
Ken, yeah.
Ken.
Good. All in agreement. Moving on. Last but not least, is there anything as batshit insane as the Sound of Music subplot from The Pacifier, which, in case you don't remember, is like 2-scene subplot in which one of the boys Vin Diesel is watching, named Seth, is discovered at school where he had bleached his hair and had a Nazi armband in his locker. The administration and Vin Diesel believe he's actually a Nazi, but after Vin Diesel stalks him for a bit, he finds out no, he's just playing Rolf in a community theater production of The Sound of Music.
Well, I don't know.
I put how the story evolves because it's not a logical if bee talks to human, then human helps bee sue human race, then flowers die.
Yeah. I'm on a similar vein. I said that that this plot gets to progress at all once we get outside of the hive. Anything that happens with the humans.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with how quick Vanessa was just to turn on all of humanity. She was just like, I'm on the B's side no matter what he says.
You don't understand. I love him.
Yeah. Oh man.
And finally, a ranking for the film. What you got, Luke?
I give it 2 B thumbs down. Not better than the pacifier.
You just say B in front of thumbs.
I did, yes.
That's the level this movie's at. Brandon?
I'll go with 3 cocktail swords out of 12.
Okay. And I gave it 2 throbbing stings out of 11, and it's not better than the pacifier. In fact, afterwards, for some reason, I wrote yuck.
And you weren't wrong to write that.
Okay, well, that's all we got on B Movie, thankfully. And now it's time for us to play the Coming Attractions game, where Brandon has the movie for our episode next week, and he's going to give us clues on what it's going to be. And we're going to try and guess.
Here we go. All right, guys. So the movie that I've chosen for you, fantastic movie, by the way. You're going to love it. So the entire movie started out as just a commercial. It was just going to be a commercial in the first place.
Oh, God damn it. No.
It ended up being a full-length movie. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's very memorable unnamed characters such as Pound, Bang, Knot, and Bupkis. Oh, and Blanco. Don't forget Blanco. A couple other things about the movie. A couple big-name actors were in it. But a lot turned it down. Michael J. Fox turned this movie down. Chevy Chase turned this movie down. Bill Murray did not turn this movie down. He's in this.
Okay, yeah, it is what I thought it was. God, oh no.
What you got?
Is it Space Jam?
Basketball a big part of this movie?
Basketball's it's a reasonable part of the movie.
Oh boy.
Oh,
you got
man.
Space Jam.
Oh, great.
The godfather of Michael Jordan Looney Tunes crossover basketball movies.
Yes.
Oh boy. I can't wait to explain myself about how much I hate it.
I remember one time telling Connor, and I wasn't serious, but I told Connor this is my favorite movie of all time, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
That sounds like me.
I love it.
All right, well, tune in next week when myself and Luke and another special guest will probably be arguing about the merits of Space Jam. Oh, boy. And for No Highway Option, well, first, wow, I can't believe I almost forgot this. Thank you for being on, Brandon. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yes, actually. So I've also got a podcast. And if you're into sports, if you're into college sports especially, check out the Blue Bloods College Football Podcast. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for having me again, guys. It's been great.
All right. And 2 quick things that I want to plug. First, all of our social medias at No Highway Pod. We recently, which means this morning at the time of recording and 4 weeks ago at the time of release, got an Instagram account. So No Highway Pod on Instagram. Check it out. And Brandon and I were recently, again, a month ago, on an episode of another podcast called the D College Pod. We'll probably be popping up on there again eventually. It's a fun time if you want to check it out, if you want to know stuff about the Disney College program or want to listen to people try to play Super Smash Brothers while recording.
Or eating macaroni and cheese during recording.
But anyway, that's a thing that happened, so wanted to throw that in, friends supporting friends. You got anything, Luke?
I don't have anything special aside from this.
Okay.
Follow us on here.
Yeah, leave us reviews. And as always, the theme music for No Highway Option was composed by Ian C. Weber.
The C stands for crumpets with your tea there, Mum.
Tune in for Space Jam.
We're not gonna like Kangaroo Jack, no matter how many times you review us, telling us to like it.
Oh, did we get more than one?
No,
Okay.
who knows? This is 4 weeks from now. We could have
They
100 new reviews on iTunes.
hashtag
Loving it.
hashtag Justice for Jack also left a review on D College Podcast.
About Kangaroo Jack.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it later. Anyway, for No Highway Option, I've been Connor.
And I've been Luke.
And as always, these have been our opinions. And if you didn't agree with them, that's too bad because it's our way. No highway option.